Look at this. It's a headline from the New York Times. Black turnout falls in early voting, boding ill for Hillary Clinton. I've got one key stat from that article. North Carolina, a key swing state. African-American early voter turnout is down a whopping 16%. Here's President Obama talking about this during a radio interview. Listen in.
Right now, the Latino vote is up. Overall vote is up. But the African-American vote right now is not as solid as it needs to be. And I know that there are a lot of people in barbershops and the beauty salons, you know, in the neighborhoods who are saying to themselves, well, you know, we love Barack, we especially love Michelle, and so, you know, it was exciting, and now we're not excited. And so if you really care about my presidency and what we've accomplished, then you are going to go and vote.
All right, that was President Obama, radio interview. Karl Rove is with us now. Karl, I'll put it to you. Black voters could actually lose this election for Hillary. Am I right?
Yeah, the New York Times article I thought was revealing. New York Times found that in Florida, 4 years ago, 25% of the early ballots were cast by African Americans. This year, 15%. And remember, this is a state where Barack Obama won out of nearly 8.4 million votes. He won by 74,000 votes. So if you suddenly have this group that voted overwhelmingly for him, the exit poll showed he got better than 93% of the vote among African Americans. If suddenly they go from casting a quarter of the early ballots to 15%, unless all those people start to show up on Election Day, this could be very debilitating to the Democrats.
If there is a weaker black turnout in early voting and at the polls next Tuesday, is it possible that that's enough to swing a couple of battleground states into the Trump column?
It is, but not a lot of them. You never win an election simply because of one thing. But look, 13% of the turnout in 2012 was African American, 93% for Obama. So in states that are separated by a point or two, you know, Ohio, for example, black turnout in Cuyahoga County is down. Earlier in the process, it was down 40% compared to the comparable period 4 years ago. Now, I've been told that it's been catching up since then in Cuyahoga County, Cleveland. But unless you come out of Cuyahoga County with a 260,000 vote margin, you're not going to win the state of Ohio if you're a Democrat. And having the drop-off be that severe in a state that is right on the bubble could prove problematic.
Now, you're really good at looking at the Electoral College map and figuring out the path to victory. But for a moment, would you look at the popular vote, what the polls tell us, not the Electoral College vote? If you look at that, have you got a whiteboard that you're about to put?
I got a whiteboard. I got one.
Go ahead. Let's use it. Go ahead.
Let's think about this. This is the Real Clear Politics average, the two-candidate ballot, Clinton versus Trump. Last Thursday, she was up by 5.6. Friday, 4.6, and the news broke about the email investigation. Still 4.6 on Saturday, 4.3 on Sunday, 3.1 on Monday, 2.2 yesterday, and this morning it's 1.7. Now, I think this probably overstates the movement a little bit. It was already starting to close before Friday, but it's continued to close since then. And again, remember, at this point 4 years ago, the Real Clear Politics average had Romney ahead by 0.8%, and he ended up losing the election by 3.9. But there has been movement to Trump. The question is it sufficient, and how much of an accelerant towards that change was Friday's event?
It's just fascinating, Karl, just fascinating. And thank you very much for the whiteboard and all. We do appreciate that. It's clear. I understand it. I like that. Karl, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Now that's the